Would you like to be a less stressed parent or a carer? Would you like more joy and harmony at home? My name's Gill. I was a stressed parent myself. I adopted my son when he was just 3 in 2011. And prior to that, I'd been a foster carer and I'd had a lovely time, 9 different children, really enjoyable, not too many problems. But then my son arrived and, oh boy, I did not know what had hit me. At age 3, he used to hold my phone over the toilet if he didn't get what he wanted. Now, that's quite an extreme form of blackmail for a 3-year-old, and so it went on. Now, I can remember watching a programme on Channel 4 a few years ago called My Violent Child, and I sat there thinking, oh gosh, despite all the challenges I've got, the manipulation, the defiance, the tantruming, the battles, at least I don't have a violent child. Fast forward a few years, and yes, I too had a violent child. And at the age of 11, I could handle it. It wasn't that terrifying. It wasn't that challenging that I couldn't handle it. But I thought about, well, what happens if this doesn't leave his body, his way of being with me? If this doesn't leave, how am I going to cope when he's 15, 16? And I tried all sorts of things. We tried all sorts of therapy, and nothing touched the sides. Nothing touched the sides until I discovered a program called Nonviolent Resistance, which I'm going to be sharing a bit more about in detail. So what's your number one behaviour challenge? What is it that's causing you to lose sleep at night? Is it defiance, manipulation, control, tantruming, not accepting your no's, not accepting your authority, challenging you, arguing with you all the time, chat back, stealing, going out late at night with an older child, running away, whatever it might be, there is a program that I can provide for you that can help, despite the fact that you may have found nothing has touched the sides, just like I found all those years ago. So I'm wondering, what stopped you? What stopped you from being able to change this challenging behaviour? Is it the overwhelm? Are you just completely exhausted and overwhelmed by this? Is it the cost of the thought of therapy? Is it the thought of trying to drag your child to therapy? Are you fearful of putting in changes that could rock the boat? I completely get that one. Is it that you're worried your child won't engage? Have you got to the point where nothing seems to work? I was there. I've walked in your shoes. I've been on that journey until I discovered this program, Nonviolent Resistance. It was created by an Israeli psychologist who studied people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, who wouldn't get off the bus in America. And he looked at how they put up peaceful protest to oppression. There was no violence, there was no anger, it was peaceful. And I had nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose. And I could do this program without my boy having to engage. It was about how I behaved, responded, didn't engage. So what turned things around in my family? Well, I think the first thing that happened was that I really found the courage, which I hadn't had before, to put up the resistance, to put up peaceful resistance, to say no and mean it, and not be budged, not being pushed off that no. Quite often I would just walk away, go into a different room, sip it, not discuss it. I would keep the rules even if they were broken, which he did, but I would still stick to the rules and reiterate the rules. I put a stop to those endless arguments by not getting involved in them. I stopped needing the last word. I stopped lecturing. Instead, I would discipline in very simple 10-second sentences. And all of this and a whole load of other things from the program seemed to bring back the respect that I deserved. And so do you. So it's a simple technique. Let me give you an example of what I did. Xbox, coming off Xbox was really, really triggering for him. You know, I'd get so upset and angry that I'd just pull out the plug out of the wall, which is a violent act. It is a violent act. You know, I'm angry and I'm pulling it out of the wall. So instead, I would just have a friend on FaceTime watching me, just saying politely, time to come off now, and having a friend watching, maybe reiterating what I was saying, and just waiting for my son to switch that blooming box off himself. So I went from parent to practitioner. This was life-changing for me, completely life-changing. I'm going to show you a picture of how I looked during my stressful time as a stressed parent. Not a good look. That's how rubbish I looked. I went around doing the school run and looking like that for probably about 6 months. Nothing would seem to shift it. Nobody knew what it was. Doctors couldn't work it out. It was stress. I was exhausted. I was depleted. I was on my knees. I hope you think I look a little bit better now. So I often am described by the families I work with, because I trained in this professionally. It had transformed me, my stress levels, my family dynamic, my health. I get on my soapbox about it. I am passionate about it. I work with families, primarily adopted families up to now, because that's who I am and that's who I know. I'm described often as their last hope. I'm hoping I can be your best hope. So you can begin today with my small mini e-course, which will give you the first few principles of nonviolent resistance and set you on the journey from hostility